Welcome back to the Webby O'Neill channel. And Omar Barada has laid it out. No player is bigger than Manchester United. At Carrington, alongside Ruben Amorim, he set the tone for the upcoming season with the club's new core values: badge, bravery and spirit. We're going to break down the article from The Athletic, pick out the key points. So get involved with your own opinions. And if there's anything you want to discuss, get it in the chat and we'll discuss it in today's video. I think by reading this article today from The Athletic, it's quite clear every single person inside that club knows what's expected of him.
Yeah, Omar Barada, chair, described as a major staff meeting. Never before, prior to a season, has a group like this ever met. It's a clear message to everybody, and I think the fans already understand what's going on. A clear culture change is going on in Manchester United, and they expect it to keep going on as we go along in the season and further on. Everything is going to change and you better get behind it. But not 100% went all the way for Omar Barada. There was a few dissenting voices.
Yeah, there was, which we will get into. But as you can see on screen there, the likes of Barada, Ruben Amorim, Jason Wilcox and Mark Armstrong all attended this meeting.
Yeah, well, staff were included, bringing everyone closer together. That's what you want to see, everyone working in harmony. There's the aim, all stick together and let's go for it. The staff, everyone was there. I think there was 300 staff, which included members of the team down from London. They were all there. Now, it has been a larger group previously where they've had staff meetings. 800, I think the previous one was, but this was 300 and they were in there and they were involved.
As you can see on screen, Barada also issued a new set of 3 core values to underpin their work, describing this particular treble as very relevant to United's history and future: badge, bravery and spirit, he said.
Yeah, and in that, it's like no one is bigger than the club. Well, you know, how do you break that down, really? What does he mean by that? It's,
he actually said in the article, bravery came down to staying resilient in difficult times. According to those in the room, he explained that nobody should be bigger than the badge. He implored people to engage in the same spirit as Sir Matt Busby, Jimmy Murphy and rebuilding United.
Well, I think when he's on about staying resilient under pressure, for instance, I think he knows what pressure's there. Pressure's there every day with Manchester United. And what it is, once you come up with a decision, stick with it. We're all together. That's how it should be. And we have to be resilient. There will be pressure. He knows that. Everyone knows that. And that's the aim. Forget what's being said outside. Forget the noise and everything. We've got a plan. Let's stick to it. I want all my staff behind it. Let's fight and let's not crumble under the pressure, i.e., let's not sack the manager if we get beat in the first 3 games. We don't want that kind of pressure. We know what the plan is. We're working towards it and we will get there. We will get there in 2028. That's when Omar Barada says we will be challenging. So being resilient under pressure in every way. And that's how we should be. And fans should be getting on board, because you look at the culture change, you look what's happening with these players and everything going on around. We have to get behind it. The plan's there and they've kicked it in.
Gary in the chat says no one has ever been bigger than the club. Sir Alex showed that when we sold Becks, etc. I do agree with that. David Beckham, Yap Stam, even Roy Keane of the likes. But since Sir Alex left, is Omar Barada actually admitting that some players maybe got too comfortable where they thought they were actually bigger than the club?
I don't think he's admitting. I think it's obvious to everybody. He's just changing it. He's doing what should be done. The players here for years have got away with murders. And under Sir Alex Ferguson, you just mentioned there, some players got away with it. Cantona got away with it. Some players didn't. In the end, they get booted out. Cantona, he was just like a different thing. It was only small things, but you're in a winning side then. It's completely different. The edge, the power, the push is all different when you're the best side in the country. So at the moment, what we see is just absolute carnage. These have changed it. These are going forward, and just stick with it now. It has to change, and quite rightly, it has to change.
Paul Waters from our members club. I've got a good feeling about Sunday. Also, if we could get Belieber, it would be massive. Just going on to the actual piece on The Athletic, going back onto that. It does say, as highlighted on screen, staff were given metal water bottles with badge, bravery and spirit on them to take home as a reminder of the motto. The audience were also instructed to scan a QR code on the phones. This took them to a simple questionnaire. So what did you make of that? Because I know you've read it.
Yeah, I think it goes overboard when they're giving him water bottles with these are our core values, the motto and all that. I think that's a bit of a PR, and I think it's like someone who's just down there, little bit of silliness really. But the staff were able to engage, put their questions in, put what they didn't like, and there was quite a few things what the staff didn't like. And Omar Barada, 10 minutes, a little bit awkward for him there.
Yeah, as you can see on screen, one of the bits of feedback was "stop being cheapskates" was one of the replies. "We have little trust in the leadership" was another. And as you can see on screen, there's others in there as well. But within any organisation, any workplace, you're always going to get grumbles, aren't you?
Yeah, well, the meeting's there to get everyone on board with the vision going forward. And I think some of the staff haven't really got onto that. They're looking backwards, and we shouldn't be looking backwards now. Everything has changed. So for me, I think some of the staff fell into the grumbling side of it. Oh, this happened and this happened. Well, hang on. It's not about that anymore. We have to look forward. And I'm looking forward, definitely looking forward to Sunday without a doubt. Yeah. But I'm looking forward to the next few years, the change under Ruben Amorim, under Ratcliffe and everything. I'm also looking to see if it can work under Glazer and Ratcliffe, going forward there. We might have to be resilient in what goes on with these billionaires. It
did also say in the article that Ratcliffe has got a now or never approach to push and back Ruben Amorim.
Well, he has to back Ruben Amorim. He made a mess of Eric Ten Hag and then brought him in when he didn't want to be in. He should have been in right now. But luckily, for the clear out and the culture change and everything, he's overseen and he fully understands Ruben Amorim, what's gone on. And they are together on it. So he's been brought in with a clear message and he's stuck with it and he's going for it. So for me, it's all about going forward. And I think some of the staff aren't really on board and they're looking backwards, and that's not right. You've got to look forward. There's a change here, and as fans we have to stick with it. We might not like some things what have gone on, and definitely I've not liked some things, but what you have to do is say, right, there is a change. Right, well, why shouldn't I back that? Why wouldn't I want to back that? Why wouldn't you want to back that? You want the best for what's Manchester United. Well, these have come in with a plan. They're changing things, and away we go forward. And with the players, no one's bigger than the club, the players' wages, the way they're treating everybody. Yes, it's not been nice in some aspects, but going forward, it's what's best for the club. And at the moment, I see a plan in place. Let's hope everyone sticks to it.
We did speak about it this week, about Manchester United extending the borrowing capacity, and with that now or never approach from Ratcliffe, and with them extending that revolving credit facility, does that mean we're going to sign any more players? We've all talked about Belieber over the last week to 10 days. Do you think they will make that push to back Ruben Amorim, getting Belieber in?
Well, they backed Ruben Amorim because they knew, and they've changed it, that revolving credit there, they went straight into it. Whereas the policy before that was we have to sell before we buy players. Well, that changed that policy because they needed and they couldn't wait to sell players. So they went into it and they backed the manager and they've gone out and got players. So a lot of us were like shocked at like how much money's been spent. We didn't have it. We was told sell to buy and all that. And they looked at it and went, what's best for the club? This is what we're going to do. We're going to back the manager because we need players in now. We can't wait till we sell players. So for me, you just got to look at that. And that was a massive, massive change. And I think a lot of fans are shocked at how quickly they've gone in and spent the money, which is fantastic. That's how it should be. They're backing the manager. And that is fantastic.
A lot of you's getting involved, telling each other to smash that like button, doing my job. It'd be much appreciated if you can hit the like button and support the channel. Marcus Stevenson from our members club, he says, if we don't get another major signing, I still think we're in a better, we're still a better football club, than last season.
And you talk about getting another major signing. I think this major signing, what we've got, just sort of shows you what it is going forward and how people look at this club. If you look at the 3 signings, they all wanted to come to Manchester United. And Sesko there, it came out that Sesko turned down higher wages.
Well, that's been the problem, though, in the past. You're talking about players wanting to come to United. In the past, they've wanted to come to the club because of the wages, not because of the club, the fans, the history, etc. It's purely been on the wages.
Well, I think if you look at, like, finishing 15th and what's gone on for years, the culture change, attitude of players and everything, I think everybody outside of Manchester United has been astonished at why 3 players, we've got these 3 players who were all goal scorers, by the way, which is exactly what we need, have chosen Manchester United after finishing 15th. Well, they don't understand the culture of Manchester United fans. They don't understand going back in memory time about the rebuild of Manchester United after the Munich and what we suffered and everything. They just don't get it at all. And these 3 players what have come here, right, want to come to Manchester United, and Sesko has turned down higher wages, which was confirmed at this meeting this week. So for me, everything looks rosy at this moment going forward. Yes, there will be hiccups. We know that, but for 3 players who want Manchester United, they've defied the football world. But that's Manchester United in a nutshell. It's fans defy it. They keep going. They keep going. It doesn't matter what gets thrown at them. We know we're hated everywhere. No one likes Manchester United, the biggest club in the world, and we know why.
It's definitely still got that pull, despite finishing 15th last season, to go and get the players that we have done in this transfer window. Mark Armstrong as well has secured a £70 million new deal with Coca-Cola, being a partnership.
Yeah, well, it's Manchester United. Yeah. They're always going to be there. Yes,
I'm sure a lot of people out there be thinking, go and spend the cash, go and use that for Belieber.
Yeah, we don't. Listen, it's like buying players, isn't it? With these,
wish it was that easy.
These sponsors, it's like in instalments. You know what I mean? So no, they'll always attract sponsors, and these 3 players coming in, and with the optimism and all that, the sponsors out there itching, ready for Man United to kick on, and once they kick on. And if they get into that Europe, then next year you will see them flying in, because there's going to be big changes.
Yeah, just going into his chat, Matt Haywood says, Amorim needs to be given a few years. Look at Newcastle and Eddie Howe, Arsenal and Arteta. They also need to tell the media to shut up. He did say something else, but just in case there's any little ears hearing. Yeah,
you talk about giving a few years for him. Yes, that's the old school. That's the old school. He's got 2 years on his contract here now. So you look at it, the way Ineos are performing inside, they are ruthless, okay? They want the success, okay? They're not gambling on it, right? They're demanding success. They need Manchester United to get up there, and they're not hanging around. And you wouldn't want your owners to hang around. So for me, 2 years, he's bringing in the players. He'll bring in players next year, and then we should be kicking on. And there is no reason why we shouldn't be kicking on. We've got the financial muscle. Sometimes I'm shocked at how much the financial muscle's there. So for me, a manager, he's under pressure right now.
Steve Murray, I've heard it all before. It's just chock full of bull. Ansel says, ultimately, lads, the club is finally moving professionally with a plan. Now it requires time and patience. Steve, come on, you've got to be positive going into this new season. Surely, my mate, signings that have been done in this transfer window, still possibly more to come as well. Don't we look at a more stronger squad than last season going forward, and more team spirit bonding?
Yeah, but when you look at what we've got, we know it's not right. There's a lot of work to be done. That the people are there. Yes, it's good at the moment from a poor background. That's how people are judging it. We was absolute garbage. The club was rotting. The club had no money. It was carnage here. So at the moment, we've got stability. And I think fans realise that out there. We've got stability, and it's a stepping stone now. So we've got to understand that it's a stepping stone. So a win here, a loss there and all that, it's part of football. So there's a stepping stone. What we don't want to do is keep harping on backwards about the past this, the past that. This is different now. The culture's changed, and we can see it.
Malps from our members club says, has Tony stocked up on the night nurse this season? I don't think you have.
No, more bike riding.
Taking the dog out as well.
Yeah, taking the dog out, more bike riding. I'll make sure I get a decent sleep this year, because I know, right, it's a stepping stone, and I know things have changed behind there. Do I fully believe that Ineos will get it right? No, I don't. Okay, no one gets it right. When you've got turmoil and you're trying to like get it solid and start on this footing to raise it up, there will be missteps. We've had lots of missteps. We've not been happy, but we can't keep harping on about it, okay? What we can do is just look forward. Yes, we can look to the mistakes, but we can't dwell on it.
Jam United from our members club says the ball never stuck up front last season, putting the midfield and defence under constant pressure. So hopefully that changes this season. Richard Club Sport says Ineos are shutting up the haters now. A good window, sponsorship deals, and more to come.
Well, if you talk about the ball not sticking up front last season, I don't think the ball has stuck up front for quite a while. And when that ball doesn't stick, okay, you're done.
You don't get any control further up the pitch.
There is no control. The sustained attacks aren't there, and you're not creating the proper opportunities. It doesn't give time. Next thing you know, you're under pressure. The defence is under pressure, so you're always falling back. Hence, the slow football at the back, the slow football in midfield we've always complained about, passing sideways, passing backwards. If you can't hold it up front, and Sesko's got a big job to do, well, all the reports are saying he's good at it. Well, you've got Kuna there and you've got Mbumo. They're good at it. They're also good at the one-touch football and moving it quickly.
Yeah, they are indeed. David Hazelhurst says, why are we so hesitant in the transfer market, Tony? Just missed out on a great goalkeeper. Are you meaning Donnarumma, PSG?
Well, I don't think Donnarumma was... You're saying missed out? We've not missed out on him. He was never in the running. United weren't talking to him. He weren't talking to United. Not in the running. United already had a plan. When you're talking about a plan, we've not missed out on anybody, because the plan was to keep Onana, whether anyone out there likes it or not. That was the plan.
You say that, though, as that was the plan for me personally, and I could be wrong here, you might disagree. I think the plan to keep Onana is based solely on his performances over the last 2 seasons, that he's not been good enough, so there's not going to be any takers out there. So they're in basically a position where they've got to go with Onana this season. Yeah, they could possibly go out there and get a new keeper to challenge, but is that money more well spent in other areas of the pitch, like, let's say, a midfielder like Belabor?
Yeah, but that's an opinion, like out there, like I've got and everything, okay? He's got Onana. He's backing Onana. He's the #1 keeper. That was the plan. Whether we like it or not, we've got opinions about Onana. Yeah. Goes up and down. It causes that much division. It's unbelievable. But Onana is the goalkeeper. The manager's got him. The manager's backing him. And all we can do as fans at the start of the season is back him and hope that he turns it around. That's what you want. Onana is just like, at times, he makes me really want to, like, shout and scream and all that, like most people out there. But then at times you think, my God, what a save that was, or he did that right. But it's few and far between, and he has to improve. And that's the thing. We all know he has to improve, and we've got an opinion about him, and most people aren't happy at him, because United should be having the best goalkeeper, and we haven't got that. He has to prove himself, and he's got this year to do it. Donnarumma was never in the equation, and that's a fact.
I mean, if you're setting out these core values as well, like Omar Barada has done, every single player's got to perform season on season as well.
Well, the thing is, the pressure's on these players. You're signing them. They've got big money, okay? They've got big money. They're here at Manchester United. And if you're not performing, it looks like United just aren't hanging around players. They're ready to dive in there, swap and change, no matter the cost. They won't hang around. Hence, I think they're not hanging around trying to hope that Højlund does good this year. They're not hanging around. Ruben Amorim, not a big squad. When he was at Sporting, he didn't have a big squad, and that might be the way it's going. Yes, we want competition for players, but in that front line, we've now signed 3 players who score goals, and they should be able to rotate around themselves.
Also, in this article, it did state that Ruben Amorim, in front of everyone there, the staff at Carrington, praised Bruno Fernandes for rejecting Saudi millions to stay at Manchester United. I want to know your opinions on that. You kick us off.
Yeah, well, he rejected it, but, you know, as soon as he rejected it and the word was out there, it then reverted to, it looks like he'll go next year. That's the rumour mongers, what goes on. It's the rumour mill, shall I say, and that's to be expected. And he's happy and he's glad that Bruno stayed. So that actually puts pressure on Bruno. He could have gone, he stayed. Right, well, you've got to do the business, but also Ruben Amorim has got to do the big business with Bruno, putting him in the right position where he's effective. So Bruno really under massive pressure to turn it round and get this team playing, but also be disciplined. We all criticise Bruno for his indiscipline when he's playing in that midfield. He seems to go astray when things aren't working well. So Bruno, listen, he's captain and he's got to take this team forward as a captain. And some people don't believe he's captain material. Yes, good player, but sometimes, you know, goes missing.
Yeah, discipline. I think that's the word that everyone uses when they do talk about Bruno, but I'd much rather have him in my team than not, to be honest with you, right now. And when you look at the makeup of the squad, Matthew Hall, thanks for your super chat, mate. He says, nearly at 100k subs, lads. Keep up the great work. It's all down to you and everyone else out there, mate, spreading the word, etc. And
keep pressing that like.
Yeah, that like button, subscribe as well. Get your mum, your auntie, your neighbours, your mates, all just to subscribe, mate, because we are on the march to 100k. Something that I didn't think we'd ever get near, to be honest with you, especially when we started the channel as well in a lockdown, just for something to do to communicate with everyone else out there without any football.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm shocked at it that was still here. I didn't expect to be here after lockdown, but that's life. You just never know where it's going to take you.
Yeah, much appreciated. Like I say, everyone joining us. Kevin in the chat says, 5 to 6 wins in the first 10 games and only 1 loss would give me more confidence, but let's see. Some man for one man says, he's having a chat with someone else. He says, Belieber looks nailed on Malps, especially now Collier is gone. Did see some news before we come on air about Collier going on loan for the season to West Bromwich Albion. Yeah, well, that's a good move. I mean, it's a solid club, to be honest with you. There was talk, we mentioned it yesterday, of him going possibly to Hull, Sheffield United. We're having a look at that. But I think West Brom, well, listen, they should have been promoted, and that their expectations fell by the wayside. So taking Toby Collier there, and I say he's a workhorse, and he will get stuck in. I think he will do really well there. And that's what it's all about. I think it's a better club for Toby Collier to go to than somewhere like Hull. I think it's exceptionally run, West Brom, to be honest with you. Ansel, on Bruno, if the club had gone to Bruno and said, we need you to go, I think Bruno would have gone. That's the kind of man he is, and I do agree with that. I think he would have done. Yeah, well, if you go with past comments and all that, Bruno has come out with it, especially before his contract negotiations and all that. Well, if the club want me, that's fine. If the club don't want me, then that's fine. So he put it on him, and the club do want him. And when I do look at Bruno, I mean, I've had lots of smiles about Bruno, because when I look at his penalties and that, I just get more and more like, this is unreal. It's unreal. How calm. These penalties. And well, like I say, how calm he is without the pressure and everything, what he's under and the way he takes him. I don't think there's anybody like him taking a penalty. Back to Onana. Greca says, I was at OT when Taiba had that stinker versus Southampton. I think a lot of us remember that, whether he was there or not. Problem with Onana is I'm sat there every single game waiting for him to do the same. Kevin says, there seems to be so much negativity in the comments here. We could quite conceivably go out there and smash Arsenal on Sunday. Yeah, but that's a different thing. You know, you're talking about Arsenal, you're talking about the first game, the optimism, the enthusiasm, everything there. Of course it's there, and why shouldn't it be there? Okay, should be there for the first 3 games till the international break. But for me,
and it's right. No one can deny the fact that when Onana was in goal last year at times, people was just thinking, and they were nervous. They were like, oh no, get rid of the ball, get rid of the ball. Right, it's a corner. People were quite rightly nervous. He didn't give you like that full backing and confidence of a top goalkeeper, and he has to prove himself. So I don't want that feeling. I had that feeling. Many people out there had that feeling. So we're not disrespecting him. It's just the way it is. He has to prove himself. So I don't want them feelings, but it's down to Onana. It's not down to me. It's not down to yous out there. It's not down to the manager, okay? Onana coming here, right, and he was expected to dominate and be a top goalkeeper, and he hasn't done it. So it's all down to Onana, nobody else, not the coaches or anything.
Neil says Bruno is just so positionally naive. He won't fit in, cash in next year. I don't know if you have noticed out there, I'm no tactical genius by any stretch of the imagination, but in pre-season, I get the midfield too. I'm more like both of them are number sixes. They're both expected to push up and attack and also defend as well. They've both got the same kind of roles, whether in the past it's been like a number 6 who sits there and a number eight who's meant to be like more box to box, especially if you looked at that West Ham game with Agati and Kobbie Mainoo. Well,
listen, you can look at what Ruben Amarin's doing with him and where he's putting him. You know, for me, always, and a lot of people out there, he needs to be further forward. It doesn't seem to be working. I've looked at it in the pre-season, and I think to myself, that's how he's going to do it. That's how he's going to do it, and I don't think it will work, because I don't think he's got the concentration. He wants to get involved all the time, Bruno, and he goes to the left, he goes to the right, he comes running back. He wants to do too much. And as a captain, you have to tell players, you have to command the field. You don't have to be everywhere. And that's what I think is the problem with Bruno. But if you have him further forward, right, where he gets in the box, where he scores the goals, these little like one-touch balls and all that, I think to myself, when I look at Bruno, and I think a lot of people out there will agree, if you look at last year with him, right, when he was falling further back, he was doing the desperate long ball, and that's not Bruno's game. So for me, he has to play further forward. But I think the manager isn't going to use him in that position. So he's got it all to do to prove, right, he's got the brain to stay in there and do the business.
I don't think Hoyland judging, especially over the last 7 days, is it really in Ruben Amarin's long-term plans. Do you expect Sesko to actually start against Arsenal on the weekend? I have seen Joshua Zirkzee back in training as well, but he's not had a pre-season, has he, where he's played in any of the matches. So what's the plan B, or will Sesko start?
No, Hoyland's definitely not in the plan. If you're the striker, what you've got to do in pre-season, you've got to get out there and score goals, get your confidence, get ready, get sharp. He didn't start the last 2 games. So for me, that just tells you he's not in any idea for Ruben Amarin going forward, and all the talk now, and it looks like he will be out on loan somewhere. That just looks 100% nailed on as far as I'm concerned. He has no future at Manchester United. When you don't start and you're the main striker from last year in pre-season games, when you're fully fit and you're raring to go, that tells you the writing's on the wall. So for me, it's all about Sesko. Sesko, I think he'll start. I think it's nailed on. That's how I see it. I think he's going to come in there, challenge them centre-halves at Arsenal, and they need challenging. You can't tell me Mason Mount is going to put a dent in them centre-halves, them Arsenal centre-halves. Not a chance, okay? So you need somebody up there. And it's not going to be Zirkzee, like Kieron says. He's not had a pre-season. So there you go. Sesko up there, big physical presence, can hold the ball. That's what's needed. So for me, I don't think it's a risk.
Let us know if you think Sesko will start against Arsenal. John Yuldens, thanks for your super chat. Says subscribed a few days ago and just wanted to send a super chat to say great channel.
Top man.
Buzzing for the start of the season. Much appreciated, mate, and welcome aboard to the channel.
I think everyone should be buzzing for the start of the season.
This is the right time to be positive right now.
Well listen, it's the most positive, okay? And I'll tell you the reason why. And it's because everything has changed. The culture has changed. And you go back to Omar Barada, the things what have been said in the meetings this week, what Kieron's just said. You know, no player's bigger than the club. Well, how many times have we gone at players like Pogba and all that? Even mediocre players, right, who have thought they're bigger in the club. They stroll around here, think they can do what they want, say what they want, get on social media, do this, do that. You know, players' arrogance. You know, they're being paid massive money, right? And they've just disrespected by using social media and other things, by going out on the booze, by staying out, turning up drunk and all that. Yes, it used to happen years ago. We know that, right? But they weren't on the money. These players are on. And they've just disrespected what this badge means. And that has been annoying. Well, more than annoying, but I don't want to say the words. So for me, everyone should be positive because the players want to be here. The players want to fight. And you've seen that in the attitude in the pre-season. They're all behind the plan. They're all behind the culture change. And it has been said, I forget which player it was, turned around and said, well, they're out. I think it was Luke Shaw, said the bad people, as it was.
The stragglers,
they're out.
Stragglers.
The stragglers are out. Well, you can say more than stragglers, but hey.
There's no more stragglers.
It's a family show.
Well, yeah, we'll try and keep it like that. Richie says, Kone, any updates on his horrific injury last night? Yeah, I'd seen it. The game against Tamworth was actually abandoned, wasn't it? I think he spent a lengthy amount of time on the pitch, was taken to hospital. But I did see some news, I'm pretty sure, this morning saying it was over precautions. So hopefully, fingers crossed, the lad's all right, because it didn't look great at the time, did it? Yeah,
I think you'll get more updates over the next few days, more tests, and that'll be done. Yeah, it did look bad, but they weren't messing about and they weren't taking risks. So they kept him down. They kept him there for a while and made sure he was comfortable. He's had the tests and that, been to the hospital. So fingers crossed he turns out all right.
Yeah, a lot of people as well. Well, one person there, Patrick, says, stop knocking Bruno. Everyone needs to perform this season, just like we said before. Everyone knows now what is expected of him, whether it's the players or the backroom staff. Everyone needs to pull now in that right direction.
We're not knocking Bruno. I think Bruno is excellent further forward. I don't think he's suited to the role what I think Ruben Amarin's going to be putting him in. But I will be gladly proven wrong. And like I say, it's down to Bruno to keep the discipline. And I think he's not had the discipline in many games when he's played in that role.
But maybe with Bruno, Amarin's trying to put like a square peg in a round hole, putting Bruno into that midfield too, when he clearly wants a ball-winning midfielder in Baleba. So he's having to patch something up there where he wants a player, but, you know, financially, etc., what Brighton want, the price tag, they might not be able to get him in this window.
No, we might not get him in this window, and he might think, well, I'm going to put Bruno there and he's going to cross his fingers and hope it works. And then he's got to look forward to next summer where he can make the changes. And if you look forward to next summer, you just don't know. People like Bruno, their time might be up because big changes will come. And I think big changes will come every summer. This club's not going to stand still. Looks like Ratcliffe, Omar Barada and all the rest of the men in suits, right? They're not going to stand still. They will act, and they will act quickly if they are not getting the right results.
Yeah, like I say there, I think Amarin wants from his two midfielders like a number 6 position, both getting forward, high intensity, getting forward, creating things, even getting on the score sheet. But defensively with Bruno, that's the sticking point. What I think a lot of fans are concerned about is defensive duties.
I think there's a lot of sticking points with a lot of players at the moment, and they've all got to prove it. So it's fingers crossed. Get behind them, especially for Sunday and the rest of the season. Let's hope it all works.
One thing I do want to see this season is more crosses from out wide. Dorgu, Ahmad or Delo, whoever plays the wing-back spots, because we have to use that threat and aerial ability as Sesko in that box.
Maybe there might not be much reliance on that. I think this is an attacking side where they'll try and cut through down with the wing-backs, get behind, cut across, and players actually running into the box and running at them, and that's what we want to see.
Thanks for joining us today, everyone, getting involved in the chat.
Thank
Been
you.
popping off as usual. Please smash a like on today's video to help support the channel, and we'll be back tomorrow with another live, so get that notification on, and we'll have another Manchester United chat. Take care, and we'll see you